Welcome to Inflection Point Conversations. I'm Michelle Obeda, an art director at Shimahara Visual. In this series, we'll be taking a deep dive into the disruptive topics that have reached an inflection point in our industry. Today, I'm talking with Vanessa Forner. Vanessa has spent the last 20 years as an architectural visualization artist based in London, breathing life into designs and working with some of the main Arch Viz companies for high-profile clients. This includes Zaha Hadid, Thomas Heatherwick, and Rogers and Partners. She studied technical engineering of industrial design in Spain in the late 90s, and after that moved to London. London has always been a constant source of inspiration for her professionally and personally, not only by learning from the pioneers in the visualization industry at that time, but also leading her to unexpected disciplines. She became a Reiki and EFT therapist later in her life, and also specialized in flamenco dancing and singing. Fascinated by all the arts, technology, metaphysics, and the human mind, Vanessa uses a creative approach even in the smaller tasks and embraces AI as a fun playground of endless possibilities. Welcome, Vanessa.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me on this interview. So I'm very excited to get to it. I'd love to start by asking you, what do you think drives your fascination for the arts?
Thank you for inviting me, Michelle. I'm really glad to be here talking with you. And I would say I feel naturally inspired in an art exhibition, a concert, or in front of a cathedral. But my main source of inspiration was my father. He was really a lover of all the arts. He was always reading, and he would talk to me about architecture, photography, movies, or literature or music from very early age. He used to be a singer before I was born, and his father was a painter. And some of his brothers are also into music. So yes, from all the arts, I think music is the one that moves me most, as I can feel quite freely expressing through dancing and singing.
Yeah, that's great. That's so cool to have a really artistic family to grow up in. I feel like that makes such a difference. And what got you interested in architecture and Arch Viz specifically?
When I studied in university, I studied design, industrial design, and then I had to study the softwares. I studied AutoCAD when it was for MS-DOS. And it used to be a black screen, and you had to draw things by coordinates, typing coordinates. And that was interesting, but it was actually quite boring because you had to draw a rectangle, then extrude, then another object, then brilliant. Anyway, the fun bit would be when we export it to 3ds at that time, and still it would be a black screen, but in there you could add materials and lights and cameras and get a render. So yeah, I could spend hours in front of a computer doing that. It was like a game. And then later I came to London with a scholarship from the Spanish government. And I got into a company that were intermediates between clients and professionals. And they will got me thinking that I could actually produce architectural images, but I couldn't learn from them and I couldn't make images. So they put me in touch with Rock Hunter, and then I went there, I did a real internship, and then I learned from them. And yeah, they were very passionate about it. They taught me a lot. And I remember thinking that how they treated images, it was like an artwork because they were really realistic compared to Spain, that it was really basic renders and low quality. So yeah, I got really interested.
Yeah. Talk to me about the Reiki and the EFT. That's emotional freedom technique, right? How has that changed your perception towards architecture and like the people in it?
Reiki is a tool to connect with the inner intelligence, the user of the computer, you could call it. And it's really good for enhancing intuition, capabilities, and talents. And it's also great for creativity. EFT, emotional freedom techniques, working really close with NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And these tools look at the structure of the mind, the mental processes, and the programs installed in AI context will be like the training of the model. So a program is made of a group of beliefs, and each belief is associated with an emotion. So by releasing the emotion, the belief loses power and suddenly becomes no true. So with these techniques, we can actually reprogram the mind. The way we have been programmed influences very much into the way we see the world, we interpret, and we create responses. It's like looking at life from a particular set of glasses. So these techniques have helped me to separate the user from the trained model and to adjust my glasses, and have changed my perspective on architecture and the world around me and my relationships with everyone in my life, but mainly with myself.
Wow, that's fascinating. I never really made that connection before between like thinking about the brain as a computer and how Reiki can help that. Has it helped you manage client expectations?
Yes, I mean, it helps you manage yourself. Yeah, if you have an expectation and you're stressed about it, or you expect something in particular and it's not working for you. I mean, it's just about how you look at it, really. So
Yeah.
changing your glasses and your perspective can help changing many things, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you put that. Talk to me about AI. What have you been doing with AI?
Okay, I can show you. I first felt really interested because some of the images I've seen online are completely out of this world. So I went and jumped first on MidJourney. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yep.
And I play with it and I use prompts, and I came with unexpected results. So it was more like getting the beautiful things and colorful and lightful and sometimes crazy. But one day I had to use it for a project. So this is basically an image I did with a laboratory inside. Can you see? Yeah.
Yes.
So the brief was to put inside uniformed scientists, and that would be looking for stock photography maybe, and I don't know exactly how I was going to get them. So I created them in MidJourney, and then I pasted them in the image. So these are the scientists, and I can show you the prompt in MidJourney, and they look a little bit still, computer generated, but they are much better than 3D people, and 3D people in uniforms for a scientist, it was quite tricky as well.
It's very difficult. Yeah. What do you find like that you have to do a few prompts and like a few attempts to get the imagery that you're looking for?
Definitely, yeah. And I couldn't get the camera because it's looking into stock photography. In stock photography, most of the photography is done at waist level. It's quite low, the camera. So I couldn't get it to actually be at eye level. There was, no matter the prompt, it wouldn't understand. So this is a limitation because it's finding things.
The right angles, yeah.
Yeah, in internet. The lighting conditions, this was easy because it's indirect and maybe interior lighting, we'll call it. I was asking for like a top lead because I had a ceiling with light. And interior, they will actually kind of blend more or less. Okay. But when I go morning sun or something like that, normally they are backlit. So that it's not understanding I want it from the right or from the left. It's still not really, doing the lighting conditions really good. So this was one of the attempts. And this was another. I wanted people looking back and walking backwards. And yes, then you are okay for like mid ground,
Yeah.
And yes, still, like you can see the camera is a waist level, even though
Yeah.
I'm talking our skin. So this was MidJourney, and then this is Stable Diffusion. The Stable Diffusion is easier to get a closer result of what you're looking for. So I will give the 3D model, and then it's got more or less the lighting I want and the camera height and the position of the person. So from this image, I will prompt, and then I wanted to get somebody more like a style. So, but I think it's pretty convincing. For an image, this could work quite well, and you wouldn't tell it's computer generated if it's a distance. And the lighting, the camera much better. So that's another try. This one as well. They asked me, no, she's sitting in a very funny position. So I want her relaxed. I want her really. So I got her with tablet, and then she had trainers. So I had to prompt it. I mean, you put weight as well. If you want a long dress, you're going to weight these words. Still, it's not giving me a long dress because it's looking at her dress. And also, these ones, sometimes they look into stock photos for video games. So sometimes they are a bit, more undressed or things like that.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you weight the prompts, you put 1 to 2 and 1 to 1 as which prompt's more important?
Within the prompt, the order of the words is gonna make a difference. So first thing you put what you want. And then if you wanna, give it more importance, you try weighting more, like a 1.2 will be stronger, 1.3, 1.4 will be stronger. And then I repeat it again, long dress again, to get it even more strong, but it's not really understanding much. Like sandals, modest sandals, but like you can see that the feet are not well resolved. They are, changed.
Oh,
yeah. With toes and put them there and change the toes. But it's pretty good result. What I need. This was another example. She was really low resolution, a small image, and then out of a prompt, I got her, much more natural. So yeah, I got then different, but same, more or less angles, same more or less lighting. So you can play around and get other type, And then this was different outfit.
Cool.
With the Stable Diffusion, if you give it little freedom, you will get something very similar to the original. And then it will preserve the clothing and the hairstyle and the shoes. If you give it more freedom, it's going to start changing. This is slightly more freedom, and this is even more freedom. So you can change the clothing. And this is even more freedom, but this one doesn't work because it's got sun. I don't need the sun, and it's got no shoes. So it's starting to go a bit crazy and out of control. So it's going to be a balance between, the settings. Yeah. And this was another exercise I did. This was an image, and the goal was adding realism to the image. So I work on elements like the paving, the car, the brick, or separated, and then I put it together. So I show you here. This is the car, the original car, and this is one option. I prompted similar to the one of the woman in London, but in this case, I put an Audi car. And then already, if you put London, it will give me the brick and, And then the car, that's also a balance between the freedom and the constraints, to get
Mhm.
the change between the original and the new one. This was a Mercedes. I think it's quite natural and it's preserving as well the angle and the lighting.
Mhm.
And we try with the Lamborghini. It wouldn't understand yellow. It wouldn't do it in yellow. For some reason,
Interesting.
it was colors as well. So yeah, we shot the colors. And this was the test with the brick. This is the original.
Mhm.
This is the new brick. One
Oh,
of
yeah.
the options. Yeah, I couldn't get the shadows from the windows. You see, they are
Mhm.
casting shadows. So I would get the texture, and I find it quite natural because of the dirt and the variance on it. But I had to paint the shadows on it.
Mhm.
This is another option for the brick, quite similar. It will change me as well the color on this one. And then I did the compositing. So this is the final image. This is a quick test. I didn't work much on it, but it's new elements. So this is the original, and this is the new one.
Oh,
So the goal
interesting.
is to make it more natural. I think it is more natural. It was giving me
Mhm.
also options for the sky. If you run the whole image, you will get different options. But I need to control the elements. I cannot change everything for the
Mhm.
building.
So did you find that you were compositing
Yeah.
little parts? You composited people and the car and the brick, and you still manipulated those elements in Photoshop later?
Yeah, that's how I did it.
Mhm.
Because otherwise it's gonna change the shape of the building and probably the
Right.
shape of everything. So I had to use it and also if you prompt it, if you put brick, maybe it's gonna put brick on the pavement as well. So
Mhm.
you gotta at the moment this is the workflow I found that it would work. And maybe in the future I can prompt it all at once. So maybe just adding a little bit of quality is gonna enhance it but not change it. Depends on
Yeah.
the controls as well, I would say.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you a bit about what you thought were the limitations of the AI tools. So I guess this might be one of them, right? The limitations on using this for Arch Viz is that it's hard to control the building as a whole or the design as a whole. What do you find?
Yes. Yes. At the moment, yes. Like I'm showing you, yeah. And also if you give it to a stable diffusion, it will understand the lighting. So the lighting is very important that it's gonna be the lighting coming from where you want it to be. So you're gonna better work from an original reference and will understand better. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you so much for sharing us. So is this was part of the work that you made for the course that you took with parametric architecture? Is that's the course that
Yeah.
you told me about? Can you tell me a little bit
Yeah. Yeah.
more
Yeah.
about that course?
Well, I studied there some MidJourney tools. Yeah.
Mhm.
And MidJourney works very much with the prompting and some other tools, but still quite unexpected results. And Stable Diffusion works quite well with ControlNet, but I haven't tested ControlNet that much. This that I'm showing you is working only with Stable Diffusion for now. Well, I have an
Mhm.
example with ControlNet. You want me to show you?
Yeah, I'd love
Yeah.
to.
Well, I wanted to show you this one, but
Mhm.
this one was really quick. This was just running in a Stable Diffusion, really quick prompt, and they wanted me to remove this yellow fence.
Mhm.
So I just sent a prompt really quickly, and it generated me a village in Mediterranean coast. And yes, it's correcting errors and it's kind of cleaning the image. And then I just merged them two together. And it
Mm.
was really quick exercise and removed the wall really quickly.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
effective.
yeah, that's kind of like the generative content
Mhm.
in Photoshop as well. And this was ControlNet. From ControlNet, I could give set depth. Yeah. and then some segmentation, they call it. It understands some colors and it will understand it and apply certain materials to the colors. But I don't think I got it working right just yet. So this it's gonna be floor, understand like floor, the brown color. Then the white will understand it as windows. And yeah, so it's got like a quite codes for the colors. So that's run it once and I got some solutions. But like I said, the lighting is changing every time. You cannot control the angle of the sun. And then it was actually giving me different type of, it will understand because I will prompt floor, wood floor, or concrete walls, or yellow metal roof. And then it was kind of coming out with different options, but not 100% understanding my brief. This is another example. But this maybe, my idea is this maybe can be run from the beginning and then working backwards, So you get the idea or the design idea, the proposal at the beginning of the
when you want to ask for a yellow wall and like wood or stone or steel beams, that's all written or came from an image?
Yeah. At the moment with the colors, understand this is the floor and I understand this is a window and, from a window is actually opening the window and casting sun from outside. So it understands some things. And in the prompting, I will say wooden floor, warehouse feeling. From the warehouse, it got me, this type of windows because they look like warehouse or, the finishing on the concrete sometime or something. So it's kind of representing from the prompt.
Yeah. It's so interesting to break it down as well. Break down the process. I find it fascinating.
Thank
you so much. So I'm going to ask you, what do you see the future of Arch Viz in the world of AI? Like, how do you see our industry changing or adapting now with these AI tools?
Well, I can see AI bringing much closer the conception of the idea with its production. It is exciting because I have ideas for videos with dance or singing, and I can see the potential and putting together those ideas in a simple way. But I still have to study the softwares and spend hours testing. And but it's fun because you get results quite quickly. So in Arch Viz and VFX, like I mentioned now, I think the workflow will invert and we will start from the final image, the concept, and, more or less the final thing, and then work backwards and resolve some technical issues. So, I think it's going to be more dynamic. I hope the softwares as well become lighter and more manageable and more dynamic. And we can concentrate on the creative side and automate more repetitive tasks. But in general, I think it will always be a need for a specialist because even if I make a video, doesn't mean I am a good filmmaker. So there will always,
the skill. You still need someone with the skill behind it.
Yeah.
Do you see AI as just a tool, as another tool in our toolbox as artists?
Yeah. Yes. I cannot see how it can take the amount of decisions that I need to take, to create an image. But it can surprise us, and bring solutions without us even imagining. It's difficult to imagine.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question that's related to your Reiki, actually. Have you contemplated the metaphysics of humanity within its current context, like AI? I know you had something you wanted to read.
Well, I will read you this answer, if you don't mind.
Right.
AI is here. We must be flexible and adapt to the changes by learning its language, collaborate with it, and use it for our own benefit. People are worried about taking their jobs or taking control by attaining its own consciousness. But are we really conscious? Or are we run automatically by the trained model and the information from the outer world? With the use of AI, the sources of information are going to become less reliable. So it's important we contrast sources of information and we use our own discernment better by connecting with our inner intelligence and use the chat box a bit consciously. You know, the brain works really literal. If you send a command, it will generate a response. If you ask for a solution to a problem and don't doubt it, the solution will pop up. But you got to treat it like a command. No doubts, because if you doubt, you will be sending mixed commands and it will get confused. So I guess the command would be, how can we best manage AI when it reaches its full potential and use it to increase our own potential and thrive?
That's a great answer. I love that. I love the way that I feel like you're a poet as well, Vanessa. You weave in the ideas and metaphors together. And sometimes like it makes me ask so many more questions in my head. It's fantastic. Thank you for writing that. I have another question to do with your flamenco singing and dancing. You showed me one of your videos. How would you like to see AI being used to edit videos and music? Is that something that you're interested in?
Well, I can see already, some softwares doing a fantastic job. But for example, I had an idea a long time ago and I created a character, a 3D character. And I wanted to animate it to dance with me in a video. But along the process, I learned the character creation, I rigged it, and I had it all done. And then I realized already the concept needed work. So I needed a concept designer, then, model, rig it, textures, animation, everything. So I got lost the project along the line because it was too much to put together. But who knows? Maybe AI can help me to put together the idea and generate something in a fast, easy way, and at least see it somewhere produced.
I have seen some interesting things in filmmaking. Like with filmmakers using AI, with Runway, using imagery and turning them into animation. I know a long time ago, I tried character animation and I dropped it quickly because I didn't have the patience for it. I really respect people who spend the time doing it. But it's interesting to see what's available with the tools. I'm also interested to see what happens with them. Do you have any... Just like a personal question, do you have any reservations about AI? Do you have any feelings like there's a boundary where you don't want to use it or it shouldn't be used?
I mean, like I say, it's here. So yeah, work more better towards what can we do with it, So yeah, and I would like to actually learn more of them, and go into runway or, explore more into MidJourney. And maybe the other day I saw one that is about making music, just about your sound voices and your rhythms. So you will record it and it will interpret, and then you can make a guitar and make the guitar out of your music. So maybe music can come out of my mouth now.
That's so cool.
Decent or who knows? But the idea.
That's very exciting. It's a good place. It's a good place to wrap it up. So thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and showing us your images and sharing what you learned. It's been really fascinating and it's been great having you here. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.